You paid for Brian's surgery, so where's my apartment? That's literally what she said. Savannah, my sister. No, hi. No, how are you? Just that sentence, like I was some goddamn ATM. I didn't even know what pissed me off more, her entitlement, or the fact that my mom backed her up like this was totally reasonable. But let me back up a bit. This didn't start last week. It started years ago, probably before Savannah even knew how to spell responsibility. A year ago, my younger brother Brian got hurt. He served in the Army for nearly 10 years. Came back with a spine injury from a bad vehicle crash overseas. The VA covered some of it, hospital stuff mostly, but PT, medication. A home nurse while he learned to walk again? Nope. That fell through the cracks. Brian's proud. He didn't ask. I offered. I wanted to help. He's always been a decent guy, quiet, reads too much, has this podcast project on veteran mental health. He said no at first, but I wired the money anyway. At the time, I thought I was just being a good sister. What I didn't realize, that one good deed would turn into ammo for my sister to come crawling out of the woodwork, like, where's mine? Growing up was something else. I'm the oldest. Erica, 36, Seattle-based. Been working in product strategy since I graduated. I lead teams, make six figures, pay my bills, mind my business. Brian's 2 years younger. Always kind, always a little too soft for the world, but never fake. Savannah, she's the baby by almost a decade, and mom's golden F*** king child. I'm not exaggerating. Savannah could literally crash dad's car, and mom would be like, well, maybe the brakes weren't working. When we were younger, she got away with everything. I got scolded for breathing too loud, and Brian, he was just invisible. Dad tried to balance it out. Kind of. But he passed away 8 years ago, and after that, things really split in two, me and Brian versus Mom and Savannah. Like, actual teams, different group chats, separate holiday invites, awkward as hell. And honestly, I was fine with that. Peaceful, even. Last month, Brian calls me from his apartment in Portland. Says he's trying to walk longer distances now. Says the nurse's time is almost up. He sounds better, more hopeful. I felt proud. We talk for almost an hour. After I hang up, I get this weird DM from Savannah, just 3 words. So unfair, LOL. I ignore it, but of course, she doesn't stop. Next day, she calls while I'm mid-meeting. Hey, so I found this apartment in Manhattan. Like, finally, it's a loft. Gorgeous natural light, huge kitchen. I can cover half, but I need help with the rest. You know, since you helped Brian. I actually paused like she was speaking a language I didn't know. Wait, what? It's just fair. You helped him. I'm your sister too. Yeah. A sister I haven't had an actual conversation with in, 4 years. A sister who once told me I looked too masculine to ever get married. A sister who made fun of Brian's PTSD on Facebook. I took a deep breath. No, I'm not paying for your F*** king apartment. I hung up. Same night. Mom calls. I knew it was coming. I felt it in my bones. She doesn't even say hi. Why are you being cruel to your sister? Not how's work. Not thank you for helping Brian. Just straight to attack mode. I tell her calmly, calm for me, that Savannah isn't owed anything. That I helped Brian because he's my brother, and he's literally recovering from spinal surgery. She doesn't care. She's full meltdown. Do you think you'd be this successful without the way we raised you? WTF. Like what? The way she ignored my college graduation. The way she once told me I should let Savannah speak for me in job interviews because she was prettier. Nah, that upbringing. Hard pass. I told her the truth. If Savannah wants to play influencer, maybe she should try influencing a real paycheck. And if you want to go no contact over this, go ahead. Then I hung up too. Did it hurt? Yeah, but I've been hurt for decades. At some point, you stop bleeding and just build scar tissue. This week, they didn't back off. Savannah went on IG Live full crocodile tears, talking about how her family didn't support her dream, how people with money forget who helped them rise. Cue the guilt trip Olympics. Except plot twist. One of her followers DMs me with screenshots of Savannah bragging in group chats about milking the big sis. Another sends me her faked tax forms. Oh yeah, Savannah's been listing herself as a branding consultant for our dead dad's business. The one our uncle runs now. The same uncle she begged for money last month. Wanna know what makes it worse? Mom knows she's encouraging it. She's been feeding Savannah's lies. Probably helped her fake those invoices. I swear to God, I just stared at my laptop and thought, this is what I get for not going no contact sooner. So yeah, Jason got a DM from my mother. He didn't respond right away. He showed it to me that night while we were eating dinner, grilled salmon and sweet potatoes. The only damn thing I can make decently after a long day. He turned his phone around and said, "You want to read this or ignore it?" I skimmed it once, then again, then a third time. My mom had poured out this whole guilt monologue, practically begging Jason to talk some sense into me. Erica doesn't understand how hard things are for Savannah. She wrote, she only sees money, not family. She even threw in some after all we've done for her bullshit for flavor. I wanted to scream. Instead, I laughed. Actually laughed. Because the last time she did anything for me, I think Obama was still in office. And even then, it probably involved her yelling at me for wearing sneakers to Easter brunch. Jason looked at me, kind of carefully, like he wasn't sure whether to hug me or back away. You okay? I mean, define okay. He reached across the table and said, "You don't have to respond, but I will if you want me to." God, I love this man. I told him not to. I said, let her sit in her drama. Flashback time because you need the full picture. When Dad passed, everything shifted. We had the funeral in the church he loved, with the stained glass and organ music and everything. I gave the eulogy. I could barely get through it, but I did. Savannah. She showed up 45 minutes late, wearing a silk dress with a F*** king slid up to her hip, like it was a gala, not a funeral. After the service, she posted a selfie by his casket with the caption, "Rest in peace, Daddy, heaven just got hotter." I wish I was joking. That was the moment I started distancing myself emotionally. Not fully cutting them off yet, because I still had some weird leftover loyalty in my bones, but that was the beginning. And when I stopped calling, stopped visiting every other weekend, I guess Mom noticed. But instead of asking why, she leaned even harder into Savannah, took her shopping, posted about their girls' days like she was the mom of the year. Meanwhile, Brian was knee-deep in VA paperwork, trying to get his benefits figured out. And I was working 60-hour weeks trying to land my promotion. No support, no calls, just silence. But when Savannah wanted something, boom, the whole world had to rally. Back to the present. A couple days after Jason got that DM, my Uncle Dad's younger brother called me. He sounded off. Like the kind of off that comes from half a bottle of whiskey and way too much stress. "Listen, I didn't want to drag you into this, but I don't know who else to talk to." Apparently, Mom was trying to transfer company shares to Savannah, not just as an inheritance thing, actively, now. And not just shares, she wanted voting rights. Let me be very clear, Savannah can barely manage a weekly grocery list. She once tried to write off a Starbucks order as a business expense. Giving her voting rights in a family-owned business is like handing a toddler a chainsaw. My uncle said he'd tried to push back, but Mom was insistent. She said she was tired of Erica controlling everything, and Savannah deserved to have a say in her father's legacy. I felt my stomach drop. "She's never even worked there." I said, "Never showed up. Not once." "I know," he sighed, "but your mother's convinced this will stabilize Savannah. Make her take responsibility." Screw that. She doesn't need responsibility. She needs a reality check and maybe a job application. So Brian and I had a call. He wasn't surprised either. "She's trying to buy Savannah a backbone." He said, "But you can't finance maturity." God, I missed him. We decided to go down to Mom's place together. Just one more time. One shot to talk sense into her before she burned everything down in Savannah's honor. It felt like walking into a lion's den made of pastel throw pillows and emotional manipulation. Savannah was already there when we arrived, of course, wearing a hoodie from some overpriced brand, barefoot, iced coffee in hand, acting like she was in a TikTok day in the life video. She didn't even say hi, just smirked. Wow, the prodigal siblings returned. I ignored her. Brian did too. We sat across from Mom in her big white leather sectional that still smelled like her perfume and old arguments. So we heard about the shares, I said, and we're here to ask you not to do it. She looked at me, calm as ever. You two gave up your right to have a say a long time ago. No, we didn't, Brian said quietly. We just walked away because it hurt too much to stay. That shut her up for a second. I tried a different angle. Dad trusted Uncle Rick to run the company for a reason. He said it over and over. He wanted the family out of it. He didn't mean Savannah, she snapped. He didn't trust any of us to meddle. I replied, and you know damn well Savannah has no idea what the company even does. Savannah piped up from the kitchen. Wow, okay, let's talk about how Erica thinks she's better than everyone again. I swear to God, it took every ounce of self-control not to throw my water bottle at her. Instead, I stood up and looked my mom in the eye. You're so busy protecting her from the world that you've turned her into someone who can't survive it. You don't understand. No, you don't. She's not a victim. She's a 28-year-old woman with no job, no skills, and no accountability, and you're about to give her voting rights in a company she couldn't even spell without autocorrect. The silence was brutal. And then Savannah broke it. Just admit it. You're jealous. You always have been. Because I'm loved and you're just cold. Cold. I was shaking with anger. You think love is never being told? No. You think love is people handing you things you didn't earn? That's not love. That's cowardice. Brian stood too. We're done begging for space in this family. We've carved out our own. Mom just sat there. Didn't cry, didn't argue, just nodded like she'd already made her decision. Then maybe it's better you both go for good. Savannah actually smiled. We walked out, didn't look back. It's been 4 days. I haven't heard from her, or Savannah, but my uncle called again this morning. She's not transferring the voting rights. He said only the income shares. You got through to her. It wasn't a victory, not really, but it was enough to keep the company safe, enough to know we weren't screaming into a void. Jason hugged me when I told him. He didn't say much, just, you did what needed to be done. And I finally felt something I hadn't in a long, long time. Not peace, but power, because this time I didn't cave. 2 weeks? That's how long it's been since the showdown at my mom's house. Since she told Brian and me to leave for good. Since Savannah smirked like she'd just won some invisible trophy in the family *** carry Olympics. We walked out, and true to form, Mom didn't reach out. No call, no texts, nothing. Which, honestly, was almost a relief. I didn't realize how much noise she created in my life until it went silent. But of course, silence doesn't mean peace when you're dealing with people who live for chaos. 4 days ago, I got a call from my cousin Rachel. She's the one who bakes those ridiculous 3-tier cakes for every baby shower in the family. Sweet girl. Slightly addicted to Facebook drama. Hey, did you invite your mom and Savannah to your wedding? Nope, didn't plan to. Okay. Well, they're telling people they were invited, and they declined to come because you're marrying a corporate sellout who hates family values. I had to put the phone down so I could finish laughing. These women really went from guilt trip to PR smear campaign in under 2 weeks. What's wild is that I hadn't told many people about the falling out. I was just going to let our absence from each other's lives be quiet. I wasn't trying to stir shit, but clearly they were. So now I had to explain to relatives, Co-workers, mutual friends that know my mom wasn't invited. No, Savannah didn't choose to skip the wedding. And no, Jason wasn't some evil tech bro trying to turn me into a trophy wife. Jason literally volunteers at an animal rescue. The man spends weekends scooping litter boxes and singing to traumatized cats. It was exhausting. But I stayed calm. I didn't post anything, didn't clap back. Instead, I focused on the wedding. Small, private, beachside in Oregon, 25 people, max. Just the ones who actually showed up when it mattered. Jason's family was amazing, supportive, chill. They sent flowers the day after the fallout with my mom. His sister, Jen, offered to help with decor. His dad cried when Jason told him we were getting married, actual happy tears. It was weird, being treated with warmth instead of conditional approval. I didn't know how much I'd been craving that until I got it. Meanwhile, Savannah couldn't stand the silence. She started posting cryptic Instagram stories like, "Fake people don't deserve real energy. Sometimes you gotta cut off snakes, even if they raised you." "Sis, you live with the woman. You were crying in her lap 2 weeks ago." Then came the big one. Jason got a LinkedIn message from a fake account, pretending to be a concerned family member, warning him that I was emotionally unstable and had unresolved issues with jealousy, which might impact the marriage. No joke. Someone used my high school nickname E with a little star emoji and claimed I had a history of manipulating narratives. We knew immediately who it was. Nobody else calls me that. Not even Jason knew that nickname. He looked at me, deadpan. "You want me to respond, or just block and sip wine?" "Both, in that order." He typed, "We're doing fine, but thank you for your concern," and blocked. Then poured me a glass of wine. That night, I lay in bed next to him, staring at the ceiling, feeling this mix of rage and sadness swirling in my chest. It wasn't just the lies. It was how predictable they were, how shallow, how Savannah could be almost 30 and still operate like she was 16 and starring in a CW drama. And how Mom let her, maybe even encouraged her. The next morning, I got a message from Uncle Rick. He said Mom officially transferred 20% of her shares to Savannah, but without voting power, just dividend income. I should have felt satisfied, but I didn't, because what that told me was she heard what we said, and still chose Savannah anyway. She knew who the liability was, knew who was honest, who showed up, who paid medical bills and walked away from the family drama without burning it down. And still, she chose the daughter who couldn't pay her own phone bill. That's when it hit me. I wasn't just disappointed. I was done. Done trying to explain my worth. Done translating boundaries into polite language. Done hoping that one day she'd pick me too. She never would. So I sat down at my desk, opened my wedding guest list, and deleted her name. Then I deleted Savannah's. Then I opened Instagram and blocked them both again. Yes, again. Because Savannah's like a social media cockroach. She always makes another account. 2 days later, something strange happened. I got a letter. A real, physical letter, postmarked from Mom's zip code. It wasn't handwritten. It was typed like a F*** King HR memo. It said, "We understand that you're hurt, but family is family, and it's disappointing to see you throw that away over something as trivial as money. Savannah is not perfect, but she is your sister. You chose to exclude us, and that is your burden to carry now. We wish you well. Please do not contact us further." No signature. Just sincerely C. Taylor. Like we were strangers. Like I didn't sit next to her bed during her gallbladder surgery and bring her coconut water because it was the only thing she could keep down. I stared at the letter for a full minute before I crumpled it and threw it in the trash. Then I dug it back out and burned it in the sink. And in that smoke, I swear I felt the last thread snap. Not out of anger. Out of relief. That weekend, Brian came over to help with wedding logistics. He brought a gift handwritten letters from Dad. Stuff we hadn't seen before. One of them was addressed to me. It was simple, just a folded page tucked into a blank envelope. Erica, you've always carried more than you should have had to. Don't ever let anyone make you feel like that's normal. You're strong, but that doesn't mean you don't deserve kindness. When people show you who they are, believe it. I'm proud of you. Love, Dad. I cried, like ugly cried. Brian didn't say anything, just handed me a tissue and let me be. After that, something shifted. I stopped feeling guilty about the wedding, about the money, about saying no. I realized I didn't owe anyone an explanation for protecting my peace, especially not people who never protected me. So that's where we're at now. Invites are finalized. Weddings in 3 weeks. Jason's mom found a stunning lavender wrap for the ceremony, and Brian's agreed to walk me down the aisle. I'm still working, still living in my own place until we move into our new home post-honeymoon. Still eating the same damn sweet potatoes and salmon every Tuesday. But my phone. Quiet. And for the first time in years, I actually like the quiet. No buzzing notifications, no fake apologies, no guilt bombs disguised as voicemails. Just peace. Which, honestly, is the best revenge I've ever tasted. It was the week of the wedding. Final fittings, last-minute weather checks, cake tasting again, because Jason said the lemon one tasted like guilt, and managing a million little things like guest seating and welcome bag tags. I hadn't slept more than 5 hours a night all week. But it was the good kind of exhaustion, the kind that comes from actually looking forward to something. Everything was almost perfect, and then the email came. It was from the venue. Subject line urgent, Taylor wedding, guest inquiry conflict. I opened it thinking someone's RSVP had gotten messed up, or maybe one of Jason's cousins had allergies we didn't account for. Nope. It was Savannah. She had emailed the venue directly, pretending to be my maid of honor, which, let me be clear, is Jason's sister, asking if her +1 could still be accommodated, and included some bullshit lie about having already been invited, but misplacing the details. She even signed it Savannah T. with a winking emoji. What kind of delusion? I was halfway through dialing her number before I caught myself. No, I wasn't doing this again. Not this time. I forwarded the email to Jen and the venue manager, asked them to flag any future communication from her or anyone else claiming to be part of my wedding team. Then I blocked the email address. Then I texted Brian. She tried to sneak into the wedding. Guess she wants one last scene. He responded. LOL. Tell security to bring popcorn. The next day, I got another one. This time from Mom. Sent to my work email, because, of course, the personal one was blocked. No greeting, just this. You're still my daughter. Even if you've chosen to forget, I hope when you walk down that aisle, you think about who should be standing beside you. But go ahead. Surround yourself with strangers. We'll see how that feels in 10 years. I stared at the screen for a solid minute. Then I closed the email, dragged it into trash, and logged off for the day. I didn't even feel angry anymore, just detached. Like she was someone I used to know in another life. And honestly, that scared me less than I thought it would. Wedding day. Overcast skies, soft breeze, the smell of sea salt and rosemary in the air. We had candles tucked into lanterns, florals in muted purples and creams, and a tiny arch draped with gauzy fabric overlooking the shoreline. It was exactly what I'd wanted, simple, grounded, private. Jason looked like a damn rom-com lead in his gray suit. Brian walked me down the aisle, and I don't think I've ever seen him look prouder. He squeezed my hand before letting go, and my knees nearly buckled from the emotion of it. When I saw Jason's face, it was like all the noise from the past year faded. Every fight, every guilt trip, every version of me that thought I had to earn love. Gone, he mouthed. You look unreal. And for the first time in forever, I believed it. We got through the vows, the readings, the laughter, the kiss. Everyone clapped, and then I saw her. Savannah, standing just outside the gate, not inside the ceremony, not on the guest list, not invited, but there in a white dress, no less, like some sort of twisted wedding crasher cliché. I don't know if she planned to interrupt or just wanted to be seen, but she was standing next to someone. Mom! Dressed in beige and pearls, like she was attending a brunch. Not the wedding she was explicitly uninvited from. They weren't smiling, just watching, not clapping, not speaking, just present. Jason noticed too. He leaned in. We doing this or ignoring them? Ignoring, I said, let them watch. And we turned back toward our guests. Brian stepped in and quietly walked toward the venue manager, who got security to escort the non-guests off the property. They didn't resist, just left, quietly, but not before Mom made eye contact. And even then, there was no anger in her face, no sadness, just that passive-aggressive smugness she always wore when she thought she'd won by losing louder. I turned away before she could say anything. I was done performing for her. Reception was everything. Toasts, dancing, Jason's dad trying to do a TikTok dance and nearly pulling a hamstring, Jen surprising us with a slideshow that somehow managed to make me cry and laugh within the same 30 seconds. The food was amazing. The playlist hit just right. And the people there, every single one of them had earned that seat. Toward the end of the night, Brian came over with 2 glasses of champagne and sat next to me on the driftwood bench we had set up by the shore. So, that was dramatic. Honestly, kind of glad they showed up. He raised an eyebrow. Really? Yeah, because now there's no question. No lingering guilt. No maybe I overreacted. They did what they always do, make a moment about them. And I didn't let it ruin anything. He nodded. You know what Dad would have said? Let me guess, told you so. That, and probably something like, the only thing more peaceful than being right is being free. We clinked glasses. To being free. We left for our honeymoon the next morning. I turned my phone off the second we got to the Airbnb in Big Sur. No social media, no email, no texts. Just cliffs, mist, coffee, and Jason's laugh echoing through every damn room. One night, as we watched the sunset bleeding into the ocean, he looked over and said, Do you regret it? What? Marrying you? No, cutting them off. I didn't even need to think. Not anymore. Good, because I don't plan on sharing you with that chaos. I leaned into him, head on his shoulder, and just breathed. A week later, back home, I opened my phone. No new messages, except one from a random number. Glad you're married. Now maybe you can stop acting like a victim. You made your bed. Hope you're happy sleeping in it. S. I laughed. Deleted it? Then blocked the number, and finally I felt it. Closure. Not the kind you ask for. Not the kind where people apologize, or suddenly change, or realize how much they hurt you, but the kind you build yourself. Brick by brick, boundary by boundary. Until there's nothing left but your own voice, and the people who actually listen to it. So yeah. She showed up. She got escorted out. She still tried to have the last word, but guess what? I already had it. And I didn't need to say a damn thing. 3 months passed, no more emails, no surprise visits, no shady DMs. It was like the universe finally got the memo, leave me the hell alone. The wedding buzz died down, the gifts got unboxed, the thank you notes went out, and Jason and I finally settled into our new place just outside Seattle. Modern townhouse, lots of light, no ghosts of old drama in the walls. We kept things minimal, clean counters, fresh plants, 0 emotional landmines. Life was simple, and it was good. I'd even started therapy, finally, just once a week, mostly for maintenance. but also because I was tired of carrying other people's messes around like they were mine. Dr. Ellman said something in our second session that stuck. Sometimes grief isn't about losing people. It's about accepting that they were never what you needed them to be in the first place. Yeah, that hit. Then one day, I got a call from Uncle Rick. Haven't heard from him in weeks, so I answer on the second ring, thinking maybe it's just a holiday thing. Nope. Hey, sorry to drop this on you, but I figured you should hear it from me before it hits the fan. Instant blood pressure spike. What now? Your mom's selling off more shares to an outside investor. I sat up straight. What kind of investor? Some startup founder in Miami, young guy, rich, zero interest in the company's actual mission. He just wants the brand to plug into his portfolio. And she's giving it to him, selling it, because Savannah blew through most of her dividends already, and now they need cash. I blinked. Wait, what? Yeah, apparently she tried to invest in a skincare line with a friend, but it flopped. Big loss. And now they're scrambling. I tried to talk her out of it, but you know your mother. Savannah blew through the money. I mean, of course she did. I shouldn't be surprised. I knew she wasn't financially literate. I knew she'd treat those dividends like unlimited income. But part of me hoped just a tiny bit that maybe this whole mess had forced her to grow up. Nope. Still playing Monopoly with real money and wondering why the board caught fire. Uncle Rick wasn't calling to ask for help. He was just giving me a heads up, and I appreciated that. Because it gave me a second to breathe, recalibrate, and not react emotionally. I was done being their unpaid crisis manager. Let them learn the way I had by falling on their own faces. But what I didn't expect was how fast word spread. That week, I got 3 calls from old family friends, people I hadn't heard from in years. People who had once kissed Mom's ass at dinner parties and called Savannah the spark of the family. Now, they were calling me to warn me. We heard she's trying to secure more money using the company as leverage. Someone said Savannah's shopping around for a new investor, but she's presenting herself as a co-founder. That true? Do you still have any legal say in this? The answer was no. Because my dad only left shares to Mom. Not to us. Not even to Rick. Just Mom. And she was legally allowed to do whatever the hell she wanted. But that didn't mean I had to stay quiet. So I asked a friend of mine, Ashley, corporate lawyer extraordinaire, to look into what options Uncle Rick might have if this new investor tried to make moves that would sink the company. Turns out, since Rick still holds 40%, and Mom's shares are now fragmented between her and Savannah, they'd need unanimous approval for any major restructuring, which means Rick could block the worst of it. So I told him, you've got leverage, use it. Already planning to... And if they come crying again, don't even call me, let 'em burn. He chuckled. That's cold. No, that's healed. I didn't hear from Mom or Savannah, but I did see Savannah pop up in a podcast clip that went mildly viral on TikTok. She was on some lifestyle influencer show, wearing a beige blazer that was clearly 2 sizes too big, talking about entrepreneurship and legacy wealth, like she didn't just bankrupt a skincare side hustle 3 months ago. Sometimes your own family doesn't believe in your vision, she said, but that just means they're not meant to be part of your success story. I nearly choked on my coffee. Jason watched it with me. He didn't say anything at first, just raised an eyebrow. I mean, technically, you are not part of her success story. Because there's no F*** king story. We both laughed. But later that night, I stared at the ceiling, thinking about how easy it is for people to reframe their failures as victimhood. How quickly Savannah turned her bad decisions into a sob story that made her look like the underdog. And how Mom kept enabling that narrative because it let her play the martyr too. Meanwhile, Brian and I had done things the hard way, quietly, without a PR campaign. And somehow, we were the villains. I started writing again, Not a memoir or anything public, just little journal entries. Letters I'd never send. Stuff like, "Dear Mom, I hope you got what you wanted, because I finally have what I need, and it's not you." Or, "Dear Savannah, if I'm the villain in your story, I hope I wear red lipstick and have great lighting." Petty maybe, but cathartic as hell. A week ago, Brian came by with takeout and updates. His magazine finally hitting traction. He landed a deal with a mental health platform to syndicate his interviews. I was so proud I almost cried. Funny how the two invisible kids ended up doing just fine. He said between bites of pad thai, "We always had to, nobody was going to do it for us." He nodded, then added, "You think they'll ever reach out again?" I thought for a second, maybe, but I won't be here when they do. Because that's the thing. When you finally stop chasing their version of family, you get to build your own. And mine has walls made of honesty, boundaries, and people who show the F asterisk asterisk up. There's no big dramatic ending here. No surprise apology. No redemption arc for people who don't want one. Just me, living, working, sleeping better than I have in years, and waking up next to someone who sees me fully and loves me anyway. So if you're waiting for the twist, here it is. The real revenge isn't slamming doors or burning bridges. It's not clapping back or posting receipts. It's living a life so full, so solid, so beautifully quiet that the chaos can't touch you anymore.